Going on, everyone? Supreme Comer here. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about our new build project for the next 5 weeks over here. So, every other week, so they like to release build project units. So I would say build project unit are like in a way like a trophy kind of ish stuff. It's not something like everyone like should really chase for example. I mean obviously they are really powerful. Like the Astray No Name is, I would say right now it's probably definitely one of the better parts you pick up from, but that does not mean there are not other alternatives, right? Um, so this week there's only 4 parts to pick up, but before I go over the parts and talk about how good they are, I want to talk about how you can exchange them this time around. So previously, if you look at the double Z Gundam over here, it's gonna take you 5 materials of like 2 specific types, so material A and C, for example. This time around, they're changing it just a little bit. So four of these parts are going to be locked behind every one of these materials. So the depths kind of wants you to summon every week for the next 5 weeks. So, how many hearts are you gonna spend? I would say it's the same, right? Because you are, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So you are still using 10 materials, but they're breaking it down into 5 weeks straight. So you want to get one specific part, you are looking at 1500 just for a single piece of, like for example, the head, right? So in total, if you want to get just one whole copy of it, it's gonna cost you 60,000. Yeah, 60,000 just to get the whole suit over here. Not to mention, you're gonna need the L badge, so you're gonna have to summon. I would say you summon at least one more time, to get the L badge to like alterate this guy over here. So, is it worth it? Let's go over to the details and see if it's worth it. So, this happens to be another T type over here. So, this is a direct competition with our previous shop build based build project unit, the Prosecco chest breakers. So I'll rate this guy a little bit more critical, just because it's like, all right, you're gonna spend 60,000 just to get the whole unit. Is it worth it? Let's take a look at the head right now. On my right hand side, I should have displayed all the stats and all those good stuff. So as you guys can see, currently the Astray No Name, like within this 5 weeks, for example, right? If nothing changes, no new parts is like no new revive alteration can overtake it. This one will be pretty good for the next 5 weeks. But you know what? We just had the ZZ Gundam, right? That guy, like even before his alteration period ends, he was out of the window already. He was out of the picture. All the parts he possesses are kind of fodder. Compared to like we had the strike freedom that kind of overshadowed him like immensely, I would say. I think the straight no name will be the same situation. The headshot attack, you're looking at 11,767. Like that is absurd amount of shot attack. But how do they nerf this guy? They're gonna throw in a pair of EXQ over here. Just one, not a pair. They threw in this nitro system over here. So using nitro system to analyze the view, get pilot feedback, and reduce reaction time. So you have 4 separate effects over here. You can raise your speed. Shot ahead go all the way up to 54 at max, right? We'll obviously take a look at the like level 1 stat, and then reduce your melee defense by 30%. Also raise your burning capacity by 25%. I would say lowering melee defense doesn't really care. Like this, he like he's a shot build space, right? So he would never really come in close to like a melee unit. So even if he even for example, lowers your defense by 100%, it will not really matter unless you are looking at a Gyujin shield, which is a halberd throw. It's gonna one shot you, right? Other than that, let's take a look at base one. Look at that base one alteration. You are looking at a 45. So I would say this is a really good awakening skill over here. Really good for skin, but is this something you want to run for your main body? Probably not. Reason being, like, look at those tags. They did 2 separate nerfing over here. They throw in the E skill over here, and then they also throw in like for computer tag, which no one really runs it. Correct me if anyone runs it. I don't personally run it. A lot of top player probably don't run this guy over here. So how do you solve the solution of subslotting? Obviously, you won't subslot yourself because if you want to sacrifice some portrait for the immense stat over here, I mean, you can because if you're gonna sacrifice 2 portrait slot that can equate up to at max 65% either shot attack power boost, or you can look at EX skill boosters. So the powers is in your hand, right? So obviously any smart person will not choose to sacrifice that portrait slot. If you are insisting on running the head as the main slot, you can come over here to the big alteration over here. We can look at the P type R782. So this is, I think, the only good solution as a sub slot because you have it for what is it? You have a ace exclusive which you can get 10% out of it, and then you can get a scale difference of a 20%. So in total, you are getting a 30.5% right out of this sub slot over here. But if you take a look at the portrait over here, I don't know. I don't know what you can do with this portrait over here. So this one over here is dedicated to that torso part because this R872 have a beam javelin throw from the chest. So I mean, if you run a good shot torso EXU, I guess you can kind of work something out of that. And then this one's gonna ties into close shot attacks. So you don't want to run long shooter. You want to probably run mid shooter. Yeah, this is the only good option. The other, our other big alteration, I don't think have ace exclusives. So, I'll probably have a good stack comparison. You know what? For this one, I will list out I'll calculate out the stat if we are maxing out. I just want to see what's the difference between our other one. The Versaco chest burger actually has a good portrait, and he was second in shot attack currently. So I'll do like a full out comparison, or let's see which one gets a better shot attack, right? Just for this guy over here because he's expensive, and I don't want people to like spend all those Haros and get something they can't really utilize at the end of the day. The Versaco chest breaker comes in at 10,962, so I would say just roughly about 800 shot attack less. I mean, that's a big difference right there, right? Coming up in third, we have Strike Freedom that recently got a revive alteration. I would say Strike Freedom is a lot more better than both the Versaco Chestbreaker and Astray No Name. And then fourth will come in as ZZ Gundam. He was replaced within his own alteration period. Like, how sad, right? I would assume by the time this Astray No Name alteration ends, you will get another better. I wouldn't say on par in terms of like the stat. Maybe we'll get something that has a good portrait. But at this point in time, I would say Strike Freedom is definitely one of the better one out of the Sulkai ones. Build project wise, it's too expensive, right? So that's not something we want to really concern about. Now we can go over to the chest. If you guys see, the chest is another groundbreaking stat. So the chest is alright. So second in place is alright. It's Amazing Red Warrior. We are 1,000 shot attack in difference. That's how immense the power creep is right now. But what did they? Alright, so they threw another ace exclusive and for computers. So you're gonna have to subslot something like let's see, big alteration, and then we can do another Gundam over here. You can do this one because that one has a really good portrait already. So you can run this guy over here to get yourself a max of 30.5%, depending on your EX level, or yeah. So I'm just looking at that base level one, but like I said, I will have a good number stat. I'm just gonna put out the numbers of like which chest with which chest. So with the head, I'm not gonna subslot itself. So for the calculation wise, I'll just tie that into the R872. Same thing for this one. You can actually subslot itself. So this one if you have to get something, get the chest. Yeah, that is something you can no. You kind of want to do something with the word tag wise, I would say. Because RA72 does have a mid range. I think mid range can be a sneaky good option to run as a third tag. So you can do like ace exclusive, mid range, and high firepower. Not ace exclusive. Set that ready. You can probably throw in commander. So I think mid range can be a good sneaky option. Just because you'll probably sub in a lot of the big alteration RA72. So this guy coming in at 6,468 is busted. So next on the line we have the Amazing Red Warrior, which is not a it's a good chess, but it's locked behind EX skill, so that's gonna be a little bit of a bad choice. Fursago Chessbreaker will come in third, but the Fursago Chessbreaker also have an EX skill, so never mind that as well. We have the ZZ Gundam, but obviously one of the portrait is kind of. Let's see. Let me take a look at the portrait. I mean, the portrait is good, but one of them is dedicated to like a headpiece EX skill, which is not a lot, right? So we don't really have too many shot based EX skill that is coming out in the head. So I would say that one is kind of useless unless you are really just exclusively running that with the ZZ Gundam head. So other than that, this one, the Astray No Name, all right, he's the king. He's the king of the shot chess currently, all right. All right, coming down to the leg over here. Oh my god, the leg is another really good option. Like, why are they doing this to us? So I would say the leg is the only one you can really subslide this up because you have two excellent word tag. You have ace exclusive and high firepower, which is too absurd. Say you want to run for your shot build, obviously. I mean, some people prefer Gundam type, but I mean, the power's in your hand. You can probably subslot something. For this one exclusively, you can subslot this up. There's no need to like go back and to sub in like a 1 to 100 scale up the big alteration RE72. So this one is the only one I would say you can subslot itself. As for the chest, you want to run something that takes care of that. For computer is not a relevant link, not a relevant tag, so get that out of the way. This one is a double, not double, it's just an EX skill power boosted and a shooting power boosted, so you have to evenly split out portrait over here. So I like these kind of one. I know there's some that exclusively just buff shooting or EX skill power. I don't think those are. I mean, those are good, obviously, but you want something up the split so you can do some good normal shooting power as well, because like the E skill power, you're not getting benefit if you're just doing regular shooting. So this one would be good. This one is good. I plan to get a few pairs of this Astray No Name leg once I can get the material E. I will probably replace my narrative Gundam. Narrative Gundam, I believe, have the same kind of portrait. I'll probably have it on the side of the screen, but the stat is obviously a less lower stat, so I am considering replacing that. So I mean, there's a lot of good option. Obviously, you don't really have to get this leg, but it's just the stat is like really enticing you to get it, but you don't need it, right? You don't need it. All right, so we have our first backpack plus the integrated armor over here. So this is the very first time we had that. And I would say I am pretty much disappointed with the stat, because if we look at the arm plus integrated shield, most of the time the stat are a little bit more higher than what we have over here. So this one we do have a pretty good word tag as well. We have ace exclusive and high firepower, but you are locked behind EX skill over here. And then even if you subslot to for example, a good portrait backpack, I think your stat will be cut in half before you get that 30.5% stat, for example, transfer to that chest or whatever. So I don't think the chest, I mean the backpack plus the arm is something you will run as your main part. So that is something you're gonna have to. This is probably gonna be used under your skin. In terms of EX go over here, you're gonna be using the deploy no name units. This one is gonna be doing a D pierce and S power. It's gonna raise your speed of your squad by 20%. Also gonna raise your squad attack up by 39%. So for this one, I want to exclusively compare that to the Fursago Chessbreaker arm, because the Fursago Chessbreaker arm does also have an EX skill, and then I would say that one is a lot more powerful. Reason being because this one only doing D pierce. The Fursago Chessbreaker actually does a B plus at max. So which one is better? Obviously the Fusaga chest breaker is a lot more better, but I don't know if the Fusaga chest breaker is a awakening EXQ. I know this one is, so there's a slightly difference between a normal cutscene EXQ and an awakening cutscene EXQ. So that's gonna be the little difference over there. But I mean, I'd rather take something that does a B plus pierce than someone that does a D pierce. So having that little extra pierce can stagger your opponent. I mean, you are gonna one shot him regardless with a cutscene EXQ, but you know, you can probably do a little bit of extra damage. I'm pretty sure the effects is the same. If I recall, I can actually pull it up over here. No, you're actually doing a lot more. Let me max. All right, so with the Fusaga chest breaker, you are actually getting a 10% to your shot attack. So obviously, we have a clear winner, right? The no name unit over here is just a little bit downgraded version of the Fusaga chest breaker. I don't know. I don't actually own this one obviously right now, so whenever I do have this one, I would do like a full on damage testing with those two because I do have the Fusaga chest breaker arm. So is it worth getting the Astray No Name full set? Probably not. Probably focus on one or two parts. The main two parts you really should focus on if you are willing to spend the amount of Haros, or if you're someone that are like spender, probably pick up the leg first, I would say, because the leg you don't really have to play around too much with the tags. You're coming out with excellent tags. You got good trace as well, but if you purely want the stat, you want the big numbers, you would probably go for the chest because you're looking at 60k. Oh no, not 60k, excuse me, 6,468. So we have never seen something that high coming out of a chest, so that's something you can get. But like I said, you're gonna have to do something with that trait, whatever you want to. I mean, if you're someone that can run from computer, I have never, I personally have not seen anyone done a computer tag as their main trait, as their main tag. So if you are that someone, I mean, be my guest, right? But other than that, you'll probably have to sub in that 1-to-1 your scale or a 72 chest to just get a mid-range. Like I said, mid-range is a pretty good option to run. But other than that, those are the only two parts I will highly recommend. Not highly recommend. You know, it just really depends if you can get it. It's not something you have to force yourself to get it, right? There's obviously going to be a lot more better choices like Sokai parts that will replace it eventually. So I would say Sokai parts are a little bit more easier to get than these guys over here. These guys are like expensive, right? So with that being said, hopefully this video is helpful to you all in selecting which one of the 4 parts you would like to get. Me personally, I'll probably try to get the leg probably duped out as soon as possible. As for the chest, I'll probably just get 1 copy of it. I'll probably not use it for the time being if I am able to get it. So yeah, with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one.